Hi, and welcome to the Feel Good Violin Club. My name is Liz, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about one of my very favorite topics related to playing and music making, and that is musicality. Musicality is that kind of thing that's a little bit hard to put your finger on. It's the stuff that makes your music sound alive. It's the stuff that you add on top of what's already written on the page. It's the stuff that you decide about and make artistic decisions about as a performer. And maybe most importantly, it's the thing that really draws your audience to you. And what is so cool about it is that it is totally not a one-size-fits-all sort of thing. Musicality really depends on context, on the style of music that you're playing, and it also really depends on the way that you interpret something. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about some of the key components that make up musicality and hopefully give you some ideas to get your creative juices flowing. So let's hop in. I've divided the content of this video into 3 sections. So everything that I'm going to be talking about can be sort of summed up or reduced down to these 3 key components. And the first is direction and shape. So in classical music, we are almost always either going towards something or coming away from something. And it is your job as a performer, as the presenter of the music, to guide us and sort of lead our ears to where we're going or where we're coming away from. And this has a very natural connection to both the voice and just to life. Like, we have a natural rise and fall in our breath. We have a natural rise and fall when we're speaking, and it's the same in music making. So I'm going to demonstrate this on just the very simple introduction of Corelli's La Folia. This can be really broken down just into very short but very expressive phrases of just about 2 bars. And in most of these cases of these short 2-bar phrases, we feel the tension leading to the downbeat of the second phrase. That's a cool example actually, because I originally chose it because I wanted to show this kind of arc shape just in the span of 2 measures. Each time we have that bum, ba, da, da. We feel it going to that center point, but because we kind of have that same figure happening several times, there's kind of a more macro way of feeling the phrasing in this too. So that by the 3rd time we have this motive repeated, we really feel like there's a kind of overarching direction going to the 3rd iteration of that motive. So playing with direction and shape requires us to be really present, especially when we're doing really slow, juicy playing and feeling the direction and the connection and the tension from note to note. It really does require us to be right there in our music making. The second component of musicality is exploring your sound in many different ways. There's really so much variety in what we can do with this instrument. This has to do with contact point, bow speed, weight in the bow, vibrato, dynamics, and learning to really expand your color palette and your sense of different sorts of feelings and moods and characters amongst all of these things. So as an example, we can play with a super clear, happy sound for something like Suzuki's Allegro. Or we can play with a more sort of serious sound for something like the Bach A minor concerto. Or a tender sound for something like the Brahms G major sonata. So sometimes we want a super clear, focused, laser point kind of sound, and sometimes we want something that's a little more fuzzy and earthy. Dynamics also provide a greater range than you probably think, because piano doesn't really just mean soft. Piano indicates more of a sort of character rather than a precise level of loudness. You can have pianos that sound beautifully tender. You can have pianos that sound shy. You can also have pianos that sound really nervous and like there's a lot of tension there. So dynamic markings really are just one small indicator, and within that there is tons of room for exploration. The last component is commitment, like real musical commitment. The way to play something with real conviction, with real musicality, is to really commit to what you're doing, and not just that, but to take what you're trying to express, take that feeling, feel it in your physicality, and use it in your physical approach to the instrument. A great example of this is the very first movement of Seitz concertos that are in Suzuki Book 4. This starts with a ton of energy, and if we really want that to come across in our playing, we have to inhabit that energy. Another good example is Two Grenadiers from Suzuki Book 2. So whatever words you can come up with for the type of energy that you want something to have, or the type of mood or character, take that word, inhabit it inside your body, and that will make it so that your musicality really comes to life. So it's with real presence of mind, real intention and honesty, and being really present in the moment that we become musical players. And it's exactly this that is what makes our audience kind of open their hearts and ears to our playing. So I wish you the best of luck on this journey. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you liked this video, please remember to share, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks so much, and see you next time.